So Larry, where are you? Come get your present for coming to 25 conferences. You've been at all 25. I know.
With a tuba. Thank you.
And
Why in every one of those pictures was my mouth open?
some things never change. And I think, Mabel, you have won the prize again for the longest distance traveler to the conference. We have a little something for you for the trip home. It takes lots of time to do. Probably most of you don't know this, and Mabel doesn't know I'm going to say this, but I met her in New Orleans Symphony, where I was librarian and playing violin in the section, and she was a violinist. And for some reason, you became a librarian, and I never could figure out why. But we're glad you did. We have two guests here today with us who are part of our honorary membership. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's a segment of the membership for those librarians who have served in our organization and have either retired or left the profession, and they're very special to us. First, we have Christy Schnackenberg, formerly of the Houston Grand Opera and the National Symphony and the Houston Grand Opera. Stand up. I understand she's going to be hosted at the banquet by Peter. And then we're very pleased to have a special guest with us, Marilyn Herring, who was librarian at the Chicago Symphony for 30 years. Marilyn. And now we're going to start to do a little bit of acknowledgement of service in the organization, and I like this part a whole lot. So the first person I want to acknowledge is Shelley Friedman, if you'll come up for your service as Mercado editor. 2 years Shelley has served and taken over what is a really very difficult job now, and I'm sure has been from the beginning. And on that note, we have a little gift for you, and thank you. And you'll get to see all your issues online from now on. Stay standing. And I thought it might be nice for the people who don't know, would all the Mercado editors, starting with Paul, please stand and show us who you are. So, 5 over 25 years. That's a pretty big service. There's going to be a lot of standing, so just bear with me here. I thought one thing we should really... I forgot to mention, we inducted 3 new honorary members this weekend. Sarah Bagoyos and Chris Sears, Western Australian Symphony Orchestra, and Pat Zwick, who, of course, you know from Salt Lake City, and he sends his greetings, and sorry he can't be here. He didn't have such a good year health-wise, but he's okay now, and he's moved back to Salt Lake City. He wanted you to know that. All right, and I would like to also acknowledge all of the people who have been a host librarian for a conference. You know, everybody who's hosted a conference. Up. I don't know, Mark? Where's Mark? Yeah, and how many of you have hosted 2 conferences? There you go. Now. You want to just keep standing? You want to just stay there standing up? Because it's going to be a while. I hope I can read my writing here, and forgive me if this gets a little tedious, but I want to do this. And I get to, because I'm president, still, till tomorrow. We we have a lot of people who've served in this organization, and it's not just people on the board, people on committees, Mercado editors, all kinds of people, and have put in a tremendous amount of time. At this particular moment, I do want to give you some of the math about board service. We have 11 members who have served for 1 year, and as I read your name, please stand up. Pat Takahashi, Peter Conover, Jim Medvitz, who I understand is in LA now, John Van Winkle, John Campbell, San Francisco, Stephen Biagini, Sandy Pearson, David Bartolotta, Ken Bonebrake, Nancy Bradford, Mike Runyon, Margot, no, that's not you, sorry. Forget that. Did you all stand up? That's all that's here. Okay, all right. That's the first year on the board. People that have served 2 years on the board: Jackie Compton, Jim Courts, Richard Payne, Gordon Rowley, Jim Berdahl, Mary Plain, I can't read my writing, Christy Sloniger, Sheila Jones, Jennifer Goldberg. Please stand. Three years: Tom Tuccaro, Greg Vaught, Kazue, John Tafoya, Deanna Hull, Jane Cross. 4 years, and counting, he claims to be that he's retired, and that's Clint. He's the only one that served 4 years. So. 5 years, Larry Tarlow. What did I do? 5.5 years, me and Pat, because we get to tack on the year as administrator. Where are you, Pat? There you go. 6 years, Joanne Goebel and Paul Gunther. Now we're getting into the heavy numbers. 7 years, Margot, Mary Judge, and Bob O'Brien. Nobody has served for 8 years. 9 years. And if she finishes her term, it'll be 11, and the longest service, even then, on the board of directors, unless Bob runs for president again. And we have a little something for you to honor your 9 years of service to the Major Orchestra Librarians Association. Yeah, value. Yeah. And so you know what's coming. Bob has served 10 years of his life. Well, he served more than 10 years of his life, but he served a decade on the board of directors. Got to good for you, too.